Hey, everybody, welcome to the channel. Here comes Spencer right now. Let me add him in here. Here, we're all three here. I lost you there. I can't figure out whether I might have knocked you off or something. I'm not really sure what I did. I was just playing around there, and
Mm.
I had gone over to Facebook to see if you were over there. But, how's everything going, Charlie? How you
Good.
doing?
I'm pretty good. Good to see you
Good.
all.
Spencer, you doing all right?
Yep, doing good.
Good, good. Yeah, I'm doing okay, and just crazy days, crazy days. As a matter of fact, the other day you were telling me to do a video about that Chinese girl, and
Yeah.
I went and did one today. It'll go up right after right after this goes off. The video will launch and everybody
Oh,
can look at
okay.
it. But
Oh,
it was
clue me in. What's the Chinese girl about?
she. Well, why am I not being able to comment here? Oh, wait a minute.
She
She
got on a song towel
yeah.
here in Chiang Mai, and she exposed her butt to the world. And I guess some of the Thai saw it or whatever. It's like a little video.
Yeah.
And the Thai people here, the government officials like raising hell. So
I
it was a
found
nice butt.
I saw that. Now that you mention it, I did see
Yeah.
that. I thought it was kind of cute. It wasn't really offensive.
Nah, she's a good looking gal.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, her TikTok channel is gone now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I looked for it this morning because I was going to try to put a little clip in there, but it's now missing in action. So who knows?
So
TikTok
she
selfie Photoshop. Yep. So I
she
don't know whether I was going to try to get on my VPN and see if it was just banned from Thailand or not, but I never got a chance to do that. But it was on there yesterday. I watched it. I went this morning and looked for it. It was gone. So
How many times did you
either
watch it?
just once. That was enough. It wasn't anything that was really anything really interesting. Really, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But, who
it's funny
knows?
you should mention it. I did see that. I don't remember where on one of the platforms. So yeah, I guess it was a popular video.
Well, they say it got over 500,000 views in a real short period of time.
Wow.
And they were kind of getting on uh, the songtail driver for not catching it, but he's driving the truck. He's not looking in the back to see what's going on.
Right.
So the article that I read said that they were going to just warn the drivers to be more aware of what's going on in the back of their trucks. But
Right.
to me, there's been a whole lot worse things done than that.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, and
Yeah.
I like the two American guys that were running around to the temples and taking pictures of their butts and stuff. That
Oh yeah, I
to
remember
me,
that. Yeah.
10 times worse. But it's just the way it is. Hey Dan, how you doing? I'm doing real good. I'm recovering well, thank God.
So let me get this straight then. The Chinese girl story is a cute Chinese tourist up in Chiang Mai mooned on video from the back of a song towel, and the Chiang Mai nannies are all upset. Is that the story?
Was she really?
She's
really?
a TikTok star, isn't she? I mean, she's one of those sexy model stars or whatever.
Yeah, she's not on there no more though. But she didn't really show anything. She had a string bikini on.
Yeah.
And it really wasn't that big of a deal. Chris, I'm feeling pretty good. I walked 3.5 kilometers this morning, and I'm not tired when I'm done. Whereas, when I first got out of the hospital, I could barely walk down to the end of the street. So, things are they're looking up. But but as far as anything else, I'm feeling great. I feel fine. I'm not feeling the effects of the chemo or anything like that, or and the surgery is healed up and taking that hold pretty well, and it's just something to get used to. But yeah, I'm feeling great. Hopefully, I'll keep feeling that way. But, Charlie, you got a surgery story you want to tell?
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch calling it surgery, but I guess technically it was.
It is, yeah.
Minor surgery, but yeah, I went to Bumrungrad Hospital to have a sebaceous cyst treated, and it's been this same sebaceous cyst, which is on the back of my neck, has been a problem for me for like 35 years. I've had issues with it before. I had a surgeon excise it, cut it out like 25 years ago, and it came back.
Mm-hmm.
So it swelled up. It started getting infected. So I had time to see a dermatologist. So I went, and it turned out I went to Bumrungrad Hospital, which is, arguably the fanciest and most expensive hospital here in Bangkok. But they're all English speaking. I've gone there before, and I'm happy with the service I get. I'm willing to pay a little extra premium it costs to go there. And they hooked me up with a dermatologist who's a really pretty young woman. She wasn't 40 yet. I would guess it'll be between 35 and 40 somewhere. And she examines it and then preps me and says, and gives me a table to lie down on. It's a one of those treatment tables, and I have to lie down prone, face down, so she can work on the back of my neck. She even tells me, she goes, well, the most painful part will be the injection, the anesthetic, because they inject you with Novocaine. And then basically what they do is they lance, the infected area and then squeeze out anything that needs to come out. And I've been through this before, right? And so the shot does hurt, but just briefly, and then it begins to numb it. But nonetheless, the cutting and the poking and the squeezing is painful even with the Novocaine, especially the squeezing part. They squeeze a lot. As a matter of fact, she was really struggling. You could tell. She's this skinny little woman. She's putting all the might into squeezing whatever was coming out. And she did complain. I was able to understand the type. She was complaining about the smell. I didn't even know it did smell, but apparently it has a foul odor to it. So when I asked her, I says, "Is it a sebaceous cyst?" She goes, 100%. She goes, "I could tell by the smell," she says to me. Anyway, right? But every time she's doing this, it hurts like a fuck, right? So what I did, when she would do it, my hands were like this, and my arms are sticking out over the edge of the table, and she's leaning right against my forearm as she's squeezing, and she's putting her whole effort into it, and leaning forward, not thinking about where the rest of her body is, I guess. And she's pressing her groin right up against my arm, like right around her pubic areas, pressing against my forearm. And I'm leaning like this, and I'm kind of looking up at her, and that's what I'm focusing on. I figured it's psychological pain management. Suddenly I wasn't thinking about, the painful squeezing anymore. So it's like, I don't know if they'll enter that into any anesthetologist journals, but it was very effective.
That's interesting.
Go
ahead.
Then because Bumrungrad is so close to Nana Plaza, I went over there and got some curly fries at Hooters and watched the punters go in and out for a while. That was my treat for being a good boy at the hospital.
There you go. That's funny. I had that done back 2004, and I didn't have I just had some doctor that was cutting on me, and you're right. It doesn't feel good. It's very uncomfortable, and not something that you want to have done every day. But
yeah, she got the job done. Maybe it'll go
there
away.
You go. Yeah.
I mean, if it goes away for another 20, 25 years, that'll be that.
There you go. Yeah. You won't have to
that's pretty much the end of my shelf life.
Oh, no, we don't need to think like that, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, numbers are numbers. That's just the way it is.
Oh Lord! Now you're going back to the States soon, aren't you?
August. I'm just for 10 days this time, a short trip, family wedding. I'm looking forward to it. I'm flying on Emirates, and I've had nice experiences with them. I fly business class, so it's kind of a treat. The trip becomes a pleasant part of the whole experience because this fancy ass flight on a very, very nice airline. I highly recommend. Emirates is now. I really look when I fly to the States, usually twice a year. I have 3 airlines that I look at. I take the best price of the 3 airlines, but my choices in order of preference are Emirates, and then Qatar or Korean. All 3 of them do a good job, but Emirates is by far the best. And with the price of a business class ticket, they'll pick you up to and from the airport on both ends.
That's not
Within a
bad.
50-mile radius, in a nice
Yeah.
car. Last time the guy showed up in a Mercedes sedan, so it's a nice little perk. Oh yeah, another thing I'm doing is as I was roaming through Emirates website, you fly from here to what city are they? Dubai? Is that
Dubai, yeah.
Yeah, Dubai. So you go from here to Dubai, and I found on their website if your layover is more than 7 hours in Dubai, they'll put you up in a hotel. So I purposely found a flight with like a 13-hour layover. And you even do your immigration online before you go, so you can go in and out quickly, and they take you again by car to a hotel that they contract for, and I'll get to spend, sleep 6 or 7 hours in the hotel and see a little bit of Dubai, and then go back. This is all on the house. This is all
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's all part of the. It made the pain of the ticket a little less. This is the most expensive ticket because I bought it like a few months ago when the prices were all sky high. So this is the most I've ever had to pay for
No train trips on this time?
I'm sorry?
No train trips this time?
That video is still getting a lot of views.
Is it?
My Amtrak disaster. Yeah. No.
Did you ever get any compensation from them?
No, I just forgot about it. I never followed through on anything. No.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, they offered me a voucher for another trip, but I don't know. Maybe I'll take the voucher. Maybe I'll find some place to go on a short
there you
trip.
go.
Yeah. Go up. I have friends in Boston. Maybe I'll take an Amtrak from New York to Boston on them.
There you go. Go have a lobster. So what's happening in your life, Spencer? What's exciting? Anything?
Nothing really. I started that new channel with the other two guys, and it's taken off. It's got nothing to do with Thailand, but I'm quite busy with that. I was actually editing a video for that before we came on live here.
Now, what's the name of that channel?
It's called Two Manky Yanks and a Nutter.
Two Yankee man. Okay.
Two Manky Yanks and a Nutter. Yeah.
You're gonna have to send me a link to it.
I will. We just talk about things going on in the world.
Yeah.
Usually political and stuff like that, but it's taken off quite good. Oh. I was doing the Thailand videos, but there's just so many people that do it. It becomes almost redundant to me.
Yeah.
To do it, unless you got some kind of original thing. And I've even seen now there's a guy that's following in your footsteps. He's doing the same thing. I don't remember the name, 4K Thailand or something like that. Oh. He just walks around Chiang Mai.
Oh, well.
So, I mean, I just was looking for something different, and I think we found it. So we're good with it.
Yeah. Well, somebody mentioned that to me the other day, and I do what I do. I do what I like to do, and if somebody wants to copy it, I don't care. Or, because I'm probably copying somebody else. That's just kind of the way, the way YouTube works. Sam, we arrived in Chiang Mai on August the 17th for 3 weeks. Oh, you picked a good time to come. Our weather's great right now. This is the best weather that we've had in a long time. Don't you think, Spencer?
Well, it just rained today. Yeah, it's great.
I know, it's beautiful, beautiful. But, it's just, the air's nice and clear. And, I get up, I'm up at about 5 o'clock. And this is my routine now. And I hadn't really been doing anything. But I wake up in the morning and I have 1 cup of coffee. I'm allowing myself 1 cup of coffee. I have my coffee. And then I'll go out and hit my walk, and I usually hit my walk about probably about 6:15, and then by 7:30 I'm back home, and then I start drinking my water, and I'll go for breakfast, and I'm slowly getting the walk. The walk started out, I was only doing like a kilometer, but now I'm up to like 3.5, and I add about 0.2 of a kilometer to every walk that I do. But that's my daily routine. But that first I hadn't had a cup of coffee in probably 3 or 4 months. And that first cup of coffee was just, so good. Just kind of like melted in my chair. So that's
Yeah.
that's pretty much what I did.
Now, I've got a question to ask Charlie. I was in Bangkok about 2 weeks ago for a wedding, and I was at the northern end of Bangkok. I forgot what's it called. Can't remember. Started on the end. Anyway, it's at the north end of Bangkok.
North of Bari.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. We were
Mhm.
up there, up by Westgate Mall, I think it's called, and we went to several restaurants while we were there, and it's odd because in the restaurants they had robot waiters.
Right?
And then we went to the
Yeah, you
mall,
showed me
and even
pictures of
Black
that.
Canyon Coffee. Yeah, even Black Canyon Coffee had a robot waiter. So I was going to ask you, do you see a lot of these in Bangkok or no?
No, I haven't seen that at all, but it's not a bad idea given the level of service most Thais give you.
I'll be one
It's
second,
just
guys.
interesting.
I'd rather deal with a robot.
Yeah, I mean, it comes out of the kitchen, it comes to your table. You just take the food off the little tray it's got and push the button, and it goes back to the kitchen. So, I mean, it was kind of unique. We went to a restaurant called Maria's, which is, I guess, quite famous there. They actually got 2 restaurants on each side of the road. And they had them. And like I said, Black Canyon Coffee, of all places, has a robot too.
Yeah, that's a little.
I'm like,
I haven't seen it yet, but it's funny. Because one of my pet peeves about Bangkok restaurants, especially the Western style restaurants where you pay more. It's like if I go into a Thai place like this, an Isan style restaurant right around the corner from where I live, and I go there and I expect Isan style service, but I also get Isan style prices. I can feed the whole family and the kids and everything from next to nothing. It's
right.
I know how to order there, and so yeah, I don't expect Western service in a place like that. But if I go, like Wine Connection is a big Italian chain here. It's all over the city, and it's Western prices, and the food's not bad. That's why I go there. They have nice Italian food, but their service is awful. Really? I mean, it's just, and that's typical of Thailand. With a few exceptions. There are a few restaurant chains that have learned how to train their staff, but they probably pay them a little more. I think what the problem is that they pay them minimum wage. They don't give them much in the way of training, and half of them don't speak very much English. And that happened to me yesterday. I was having, like a late lunch, early dinner at Wine Connection, and it was clearly this new young guy who was, very nervous and didn't know much of what he's doing. And I've learned, you don't even point to the picture in the menu so he gets it right. And then I simply asked him for a Coke Light, and he didn't understand what I was asking for. And I'm thinking, how can you employ somebody in a Western style restaurant and not understand that? And that's the only thing in English I said to him. I was speaking to him in Thai. Now, granted, my Thai is not great, but I know how to ask if you have Coke Light. Couldn't we Coke Light, my club? It's like, and he looked at me as if I was speaking German, and I was like, so finally he went and got a manager over, and she said, no, we have Coke. The Pepsi Max, I think. Pepsi version of it. So that's what the kids didn't understand, is because they didn't carry that. So he didn't even have that phrase in his brain. And the only reason I bring it up is because I was a little annoyed with it. It was a hot day and a few things had been annoying me. So I was a little short-tempered with it. I just looked, it's easy to be short-tempered with a Thai. You just look at them like this and they get upset. They're not like us grumpy Westerners. They're not used to that, right? The point is that the service in most places here suck. So, robots might be a good idea. It can't be any worse than that.
No, I just look at it like it's putting a lot of people out of work if you have robots, though. What are they going to do?
I don't get the sense that they stick around much.
I don't either, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's like, people go, become a waiter, and if they're, any degree of competency, I think they drag them into the kitchen and make them start cooking. That's the other thing.
That's funny.
But that's interesting. No, I haven't seen it down here at all.
Yeah,
it's like, that's
kind of like going to Walmart and do self checkout. I hear more complaints about that from people than anything.
Well, that's what they say. They say you should pay me a salary for checking my own stuff out.
Yeah. So. I saw one place, I think it's an Apple store or something like that, where you just go in and pick out what you want, and it automatically rings you out of your Apple. There's nobody there. Once you walk out the door, it gets everything. I've never seen that. Food service is an issue wherever you go, regardless of English. Yes, that's very true. It's hard to find good service.
You know, something I noticed the other day on Middle Ring Road is they've got a automatic car wash now. It's not one of those ones you drive through, but the ones where you pull in, you pay the money, and you get to spray yourself.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, that's the first one I've ever seen in Thailand.
Yeah, I haven't seen them here either.
Yeah,
Huh.
Coming quite automated here.
Yeah. How far out Second Ring Road is it?
Not that far, probably about a mile on the right.
Hmm.
Yellow and black stripes, you can't miss it.
Is it on the going out side or the coming back inside?
Going out.
Going out. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's, I haven't seen that yet. But,
Yeah.
Well, the only place I've seen robots really are in airports. I've seen them like sweeping floors and things like that.
Oh yeah, right. Oh yeah, I have seen those at Suvarnabhumi Airport. Yeah, you're right.
I haven't seen them.
Mm.
Well, hey, let me ask you a question, Spencer. You're saying this new channel, which I'm going to take a look at. It sounds like it might be interesting.
Yeah.
Are you talking about current events?
Yes.
So are you up at all on what's going on in Russia today?
Yes, I am actually.
Isn't that amazing? It's like
That is amazing. That is amazing. I don't know what's going to become of that either.
I'm completely in the blue about that. I tried to read up on it. You mentioned it something to me about it, but I didn't know anything about it.
Well, the brief overview is there is a Russian military group called the Wagner Group or Wagner Group.
Wagner.
Yeah,
Wagner.
depending on what part of the world you're from, and it's led by a guy named Prigozhin, who has been a rather bold anti-establishment guy, although he's always up till now been respectful of Putin, but he's been attacking the military brass in the Department of Defense there. And he's been the only one in the Ukraine battle that's had any kind of military success, and very hard fought at that. He's, and he commands about 25,000 soldiers, according to him. Well, he turned on Russia, within the last 24 hours, and he's marching toward Moscow with blood in his eye. And what's happening that's making it really interesting is this first major city. I forget the name of it. I'm sorry, I can't recall the name of it.
Rostov.
The first major city of about 1 million people. He got there, and the Department of Defense has the whole Southern Command headquartered there. And when he got there, the military said, "Yeah, come on in. Nobody opposed him."
Yeah,
so that's interesting.
Yeah, that's like, whoa,
okay. Be interesting to see what happens there.
It will.
Yeah, well, it's quite a shakeup. I'd like to be, it's like, must be a laugh a minute at NATO headquarters. They just say, maybe we should just sit back and see what happens here.
And the Ukrainians are just laughing it up. They just taking over more land. When Wagner pulls out, the Ukrainians go in. So,
well, it'd be interesting. That's another interesting part of the story. It's like, I'm not a military expert, but they are currently engaged in a pretty fierce fight, the Ukrainians against the Russians. And this is going to, certainly make it more difficult for the Russians.
It's going to tax it for the Russians. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So it's like, where Twitter is once again, the last time I had this experience on Twitter was I signed off Twitter for like 2 years. It's such an annoying platform. But when Musk bought it, I went back on and said, I don't know, maybe things will get better. And I think they have a little bit, but it's still Twitter. It's the same, hive of contentious, look at me people. It's like, that's the only way I can. But here's the value of Twitter. And the last time I had this value, remember when that bombing was going on back at the Boston Marathon?
Yeah.
Not the
I'm
bombing
watching the thing on
itself,
Netflix.
But, like 2 weeks later, when they were chasing those kids,
right.
was chasing those terrorists, around whatever those Boston suburbs, and they made a movie out of it with Mark Wahlberg, right? It's like the, but when that was actually going on, there was minute by minute accounts of it popping up on Twitter. It was the most fascinating thing I ever saw. I was in Singapore at the time, so it's like it has to be like over 9 years ago, something like that. And I was watching what turned out to be a Mark Wahlberg movie in action on Twitter, because you were getting, minute by minute. Hey, I just heard gunshots at a gas station, and then every stuff from around there, and it was like a moment by moment account of this pretty dramatic thing that was occurring. Now, there's less of that going on in Russia because they're trying to shut down the internet, but there's still
Right.
a lot of stuff getting out. And it's
Right.
like Twitter is, if I was in the news business, I'd be very unhappy because they're kicking the ass of all the other news gathering people because they're getting this kind of, moment to moment stuff. Up pops Putin and up pops Prigozhin, and then there's a thing. Here's the tanks in front of the building. It's like it's pretty interesting.
It's like real time. Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. I'll tell you. It's there's no telling. When you look at everything that's going on right now, and I try to not. I don't get into politics or anything like that anymore. I've just stay out of it. But if you look at what's going on, you got China trying to take over Taiwan, and we're involved in it whether we like it or not. I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, I think that they kind of put us in a situation where if something happens, we're going to be right in the middle of it. But it's hard to tell what's going to happen. I don't have a clue. I'm just kind of glad I'm sitting here, and maybe everything will go over the tops of our heads, and we can sit back and watch. But I've never seen anything like it. And John Teen and Phuket are Russian enclaves now. I wonder why. Yeah, everybody's a lot of the Russian people are trying to get out of Russia, and they're going to Phuket. And,
but I just saw that Putin has said nobody can leave now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I guess if they were wanting to get out, then no chance now, unless they sneak
It's
across.
kind of late now. There's a lot of them there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he just wants to keep the air lanes open so he can get out. Things are not looking good.
That might be it.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh, let's see what this is.
What a fall from grace, and it's so typically Russian. It's like he's one of the most powerful men in the world 2 years ago, and now look at him. He's hiding in a bunker.
And I watched a video today. It was a really good video, and it discussed the history of Russia, basically. And it seems like Russia just kind of repeats history over and over and over again.
Yeah, I probably looked at the same video.
Mm.
Yeah, it does seem like that.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to say what's going to happen.
Yeah, it is.
It may not happen in our lifetime either. It may be a different lifetime, but I'd say something's gonna break somewhere.
Well, if peace breaks out in Ukraine, I want to go to Kiev.
Yeah.
I think it'll be an interesting place to go visit.
I think so too.
One of my first casual love affairs was with a Ukrainian. Xenia Ivanik. I even remember her name. I'm talking 1970 here, and I still remember her.
Now she's probably a babushka.
Yeah, well, maybe her granddaughter's available in Kiev now.
There you go.
That's funny.
Yeah. I've always wanted to go to Eastern Europe. I never had a chance, but I'd like to go to Ukraine and the Baltic states, and I think that'd be kind of nice over there.
I also know a yoga teacher in not Moldova, but in Latvia. A guy who's actually my age. He claims to have been in the Russian mafia. He did have a lot of money when I met him. This is like 15 years ago. But he went and he opened the only hot yoga studio in what's the main city in Latvia? I can't remember the name of it, but Latvia's capital city. He has 2 Bikram yoga studios there, and as far as I know, they're still open. So I'd like to go visit him. See what's going on there. Yeah.
That's funny. Oh Lordy.
What about Bill? Are you going to make any trips back to Vietnam anytime soon?
Probably not anytime soon. Now I'm hoping within probably the next year, we'll head back over there. I really want to go back to Da Nang. I loved it over there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that will probably be one of our first trips that we take after things kind of settle down a little bit.
How much more of this immunotherapy do you have to go through?
I have to go through a year.
Oh, a year. Wow.
Yeah, it's 12 months. It's right now they've got it set so I'll go twice a month for a year, and I'm hoping after the first couple of times that they can change it to where you just go once a month and get, the injections. And I'm
Mm.
hoping I'm going to try to talk them into that after I get the first. I think what they do is they give you the first two. Uh, it's kind of like half doses because the
Mm.
full dose is like 420, and I read it up on the internet, and what they're giving me is like 240 or something like that, and they're giving me half doses maybe for the first month to see how my body reacts to it.
Right,
That's what
right.
I hope, and then it'll go to hopefully it'll go to once a month.
Well, you just
You
walk in
know,
and get a shot and leave, or what?
no, I got to spend the night.
Oh, do
I
you?
didn't. Yeah, I didn't know that until today when she called because my medicine has to be ordered. They
Mm.
don't keep it up here, and once they ordered it, she said it would be 2 weeks to come in. Well, it came. I guess it came in yesterday, so they called today to try to set up the appointment to whenever I'll go in. But I will have to spend the night, which is it's okay. I did it with the chemo. It made it easy. You go in and they fill you. They do your blood test first, and then they'll come in and they'll give you some IV fluids, and then the injection, and then probably about 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, they take all the needles out. You sleep in, and then the next morning you wake up and you get ready to go out. And as soon as the insurance company pays out, they send you a lady up there and says, "Okay, you're all set. Go on," and off you go.
Mm.
So we'll probably do it that way, but I'm going to try to get it to. I think I can handle 12 more days in the hospital. Um, but 26 or 24, I don't know about that. That's going to be it.
Yeah.
But to ensure that cancer is not going to come back, I think it's well worth the while to do it. And
Mm.
as long as the insurance company's paying for it, I don't care. If the insurance company wouldn't pay for it, then I couldn't do it. I couldn't afford it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the medicine alone. A half dose of the medicine is 173,000 baht.
Cool.
That's just for the medicine, and that's twice a month. So by the time I'm done, I'm figuring it's going to be pretty close to about 150,000, and for this treatment alone. That doesn't include my surgery. It doesn't include my chemotherapy. It doesn't include anything else that I've had to have done.
Mm.
So I'm fortunate that I had a good insurance company. I thank God that I did. Uh, if had this happened 2 years ago, I mean, I had insurance, but it wasn't anything like what I have now. And,
Mm.
uh, based on the problems that I had getting my knee surgery done with my old company versus what I'm dealing with here, it's just night and day. These people are just, I don't even have to deal with them. The hospital calls and they set it up, and they'll call me the next day, say, okay, they've approved it, and come on in and do your stuff. It's I can't say enough good about them.
Mm.
It's a top notch company. So, and a lot of the companies, insurance companies, will they'll look at the bill and they say, well, we're not going to pay that. We're not going to pay that. We're not going to pay that. This is something that you didn't need or whatever. The only thing that I've ever had to pay for is a ATK test to get in the hospital. When I go in now, I pay my outpatient visits to the doctor and stuff. I pay, but that's only 3, 4, 500 baht, maybe at the most 2,000 or something. So
Mm.
that's not too bad. But the rough stuff they've covered for me, and I'm really pleased with the service that I've got from them. Can't say enough good about WR Life. That's the name of the insurance company. So far so good. Hopefully, I hope this is the last. I mean, nobody likes getting sick. Nobody likes being a patient. Nobody likes going to the hospital. So the sooner this is behind me, I mean, I'm probably going to have to get checked every 6 months, which that I don't mind.
Mm.
But the treatments and stuff are, I'm ready to have it over with. So we'll wait and see what happens. But that's pretty much the brunt of it now. I'm
Speaking of hospitals, I noticed that Bangkok Hospital, I was there yesterday, and
Mhm.
their parking lot is under construction. And I asked one of the guys that he's the he's a Thai guy, but he's also an American.
Mm-hmm.
He runs the veterans part of it. Anyway, they're actually building a 7-story annex to Bangkok Hospital. That's how much business they've had lately. You know, I don't know how many floors they got now, like 14, but they're going to build another building behind it that's 7 floors, and then they're going to build a thing like Rom has, you know, where you got like a little market, you know, with like Starbucks and some restaurants in it. They're going to build one of those there too. So that hospital's definitely getting bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it. I would like to see some numbers of like the population increase in Chiang Mai over the last 10 years, just to see how many people are moving here. But I guess I look
I don't
online, I
know.
probably find it.
It's, there's, uh, I'm seeing, in my own neighborhood, I'm
Hmm.
seeing a lot of Chinese people.
Hmm.
I'm seeing a lot of, uh, Europeans and stuff.
Hmm.
So I think a lot of people are coming here.
Well, there's a lot of houses being built, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
There seems to still be a glut of housing available for renters here.
Hmm.
I've been looking myself. I'm planning on moving,
Hmm.
and the supply. You can just tell the agents are really eager. And they'll give you a price, and if you don't respond positively, all of a sudden, even without asking, they're saying, "Well, maybe we can negotiate a few thousand baht off." It's like, it's so the rental market is a renter's market here. I don't know about buying. I'm not interested in buying, but if you're a renter here in Bangkok, there's plenty of places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With eager people looking to rent, and I think part of it is there's always been this desire on the part of Asians in general to own property as an investment. It's better than sinking their money into stocks or banks. They seem to prefer property.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
if you're going to buy a condo as an investment, it'd be nice to have somebody in it, paying you a little dividend. So
Hmm.
Right.
there's loads and loads of spaces like that, and they're all firing up again. There's a place right behind where I live here now, a construction site that fired up in 2018, and it lasted well into the pandemic. I mean, it was well into 2020. They were still, doing construction out there, but they finally just closed everything down for a while. Well, they fired up back over the last couple of days. Actually, I see the construction crews are back, and they're going ahead with a big high-rise condo building, which are,
Hmm.
Hmm.
they're all over the place here. They're still building like crazy. So I have to presume they're selling them.
You would think so.
I would say so. It's kind of funny. We had on the other side of our move on, uh, they were putting up a high-rise apartment building, a condo, and it had been in the process of being built for 6 years anyway. And they'd start on it, they'd do a little bit of it, and then they'd stop, and then they'd start, and
Hmm.
they'd stop. And they've just now finished it, and the one bedroom apartments are going for 4.5 million baht.
Ooh,
One bedroom.
ooh, that's
It's
expensive.
it's amazing. And I went through there today. The parking lot's full. There's people coming in and out.
Hmm.
So somebody's paying it. Uh, I don't know. But we're seeing an influx of foreigners here in
Yeah.
Hangdong, in my neighborhood. I don't. What are you seeing down there where you're at, Spencer? Is there
Well, you
more
just
of
come
them?
drive to my house, you'll see there's all kinds of houses going up. But what I noticed is, and I read somewhere that the Chinese are coming here and they want their kids to go to school here. So they're actually legitimately moving here to put their kids through school. I
Yeah.
guess the schools here are better than in Thailand. I mean, in China. But yeah, you see a surge of Chinese coming in, and they're buying houses.
I don't understand how they're able to do it, but um, I
Got
guess
me.
they're doing it somehow. They could be
Yeah,
using the nominees. I don't know.
could
Um,
be.
but there, and I'm not picking on the Chinese people. But there was an article written about probably about a month ago, about a lady who was actually Chinese,
Hmm.
and she had come to Thailand, and she had got somehow or another got citizenship, and then she was brokering children.
Oh yeah,
Did you
I
read
read
about
that.
that?
Yeah, I read that.
And
Yeah, she was claiming they're all relatives of some
yeah,
sort when they
yeah, yeah,
weren't.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The condos that I'm talking about are right behind Rungaroon. Um, they're just it's probably about a 10-story building, and it's one of the only condos that I've seen down here that
that's an
size.
odd place
Down
for a
this.
condo.
Yeah, I know. It's right backed up right against the Mubon.
Hmm.
Um,
That's
and
just all
like I said,
family homes up in there.
yeah, that's all it is. There's nothing. There's some apartments further on down the road, but those are those apartments that you get for 1,500 baht a month. But this is
Hmm.
a high class place, and they haven't even fenced it in yet. It's still got the corrugated metal on the outside. You have to drive in. They've got a gate and they've got a guard out there with an up and down thing.
Hmm.
So it's going. So I don't know. Yeah, I saw Erewhon condos up in the city. They look nice too. But yeah, you're right. They are expensive. And from what I kind of know, I mean, it seems like the condos here are going for almost as much as the ones in downtown Bangkok. Um,
Yeah.
they're bringing big money, but people are renting them. So who knows? It's
When I was in Bangkok 2 weeks ago, I mean, all you see is just condos and buildings being built with a big crane on top of the building.
yeah.
I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah, they are.
It's
Which
crazy.
which is a bad sign in my view of the world. I remember when there were I went through Las Vegas back in probably around 2006 or seven, just before the whole housing market collapsed in the States, and I was impressed with the amount of cranes present in Las Vegas. I remember thinking the skyline was filled with construction cranes. Like a year later, the whole real estate market collapsed. So I
Yeah,
wonder if that's an indicator.
yeah, it might be.
Because they're all a lot of the projects that came to a halt uh, during the COVID shutdowns are all fired back up again now. And
Yeah.
this one place I looked at is this really interesting complex near Sukhumvit Soi 100. Actually, 101. It's on the odd side of Sukhumvit Road, and it's called the True Digital Park. True, the phone company sees itself as kind of a Thai Google, and I was there just before the COVID shut, or maybe it was after the first lock. It was made during COVID. In the first lockdown had just lifted, and I just went out there to see the place. I was thinking of making a video out there, and it was just an interesting concept. It was a park. It's kind of a not industrial, but an office park, and restaurants and places, workspaces that you could use for free. It was very nice actually, and there was still a lot of ongoing construction. Well, I was out there again this week, and they've completed the construction. There's three giant condo buildings, another whole office park section. This is a great big complex that's really pretty impressive. And that's one of the places I was looking at rentals, and they are aggressively seeking tenants. They have two of the three buildings have recently opened. So they've completed these within the last couple of months. That they've opened them up, and they've apparently sold a bunch of them, and they're trying to fill them with renters for the property holders. And the apartments I was looking at, I got to know the names of two of the owners, which were both Thai, so there are Thai people buying them. And it's just interesting that there's this whole real estate market. I've given up trying to analyze it because I clearly don't understand it. It just doesn't seem to meet the dictates of supply and demand in my view of the world.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see, but it depends on how things go. I think that we've watched property prices increase here drastically in the last 12 years. They've just about doubled. So, I don't know, the move on that I'm living in, they're building houses daily. I mean, they're just, and they'll do a section and they're moved in, and then they start the next section, and they've still got houses from the first section that haven't sold, but something about it, they keep buying the land and going and going and going. So,
It's still affordable to live here, though. I mean,
yeah,
it, it's just depending on where you're coming from. But I mean, rent or your mortgage really isn't that bad here. Hell, the electricity bills is as much as the mortgage in some places.
just about, yeah.
So I mean, the mortgage. I mean, ours is like less than $500 a month.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like it's crazy. I mean, obviously you got to put money down on the house, but it's not that bad yet. But it has. You're right. It has definitely gone up in price.
Yeah.
So,
The land prices have gone up, and I think, and you have to when you look at it, it's all geared towards Chinese, because the writing, they'll have English on the top, and then
Right.
underneath it, it'll all be Chinese.
Yeah, they do.
So,
Right.
that's how it is. Be happy my home in Texas doubled in the past few years.
I wish
Well,
mine
when
did.
you sell it, you'll do real well. You have electricity show offs. Yeah. Now our electricity bills have increased
Yeah,
drastically.
big time.
You
Big
know,
time.
mine. I never had one over probably 1,200 baht a month, and now they're running about 3,000 now.
Hmm.
And we don't run the air conditioner all the time,
Hmm.
but it's difficult. And you have to figure out too. It's hard for these Thai people that are
Yeah.
they're feeling it now too.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do. They'll have to do something here eventually.
Well, hopefully with the new government, hopefully some things will change. So we'll have to wait and see about that.
Yeah. Um, one of the things that I've noticed, and I don't know if they're doing it in your neighborhood or not, but they're taking all these wires that we've seen strung,
Hmm.
crazy wires. They're pulling them all down. Uh, they're doing it in the moat, and they're also doing it. They did it in my move on, and then they're out on the street, and they're going through, and they're getting all these dead cables that don't go anywhere, and they're taking them down. So
Yeah.
that's one thing that I've noticed, and I think that's really good.
Yeah. Because usually the electrical lines are always the ones on the very, very top.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
These are
got
all
your
cable lines.
right. You got cable and internet, all that stuff below. And what happened in the past is guys wouldn't remove anything because they didn't know what those lines went to. They just add new lines,
Yeah,
and you get these big, huge bird nests up there. So if they're going in there pulling all those lines down and then restringing a new line, that'd be great. It'd actually make
yeah,
things look better. But I
yeah,
mean, in a sense, though, that's the bird's nests are kind of what makes Thailand Thailand too.
yeah, yeah. That's true. That's true.
Uh,
Government change. How's that going? It's hard for us to judge it. I don't get involved in politics here, but I'd say that it's going to be probably pretty smooth sailing when the next administration comes in and takes over. I don't think there'll be this party, Move Forward Party, has won by such a strong margin that to do anything other than have them, it's just, it wouldn't be right. I mean, this is the people of Thailand have spoke, and that's what they want, and that's what they're going to get. Hopefully, I don't foresee any. I don't foresee any snowfoods come through there. I don't think anything's
no.
going to happen.
He was in Chiang Mai not too long ago, wasn't he?
He was just here a couple days ago.
Oh, a couple days
Uh,
ago.
yeah, yeah. I think it was on the 15th he was here, and I
They
mean to
said it was
tell
like
you,
a rock concert. Yeah.
yeah, he was at Hangdong Market,
Oh,
and I
was
went
it?
through, and I mean it was just wall to wall people. Uh,
Hmm.
I mean a lot more people than I've seen in a long time, and it
Really?
was just packed. And he went from here, he went up to Taipei Gate, and that place was absolutely mobbed.
Huh.
And then they had a procession, I think, that went up to Sansai. And the funny thing, excuse me, he ended up getting COVID.
Yeah, I heard
Out of
that.
it. Yeah, ended up getting COVID. So yeah,
It's
he
still around, I
seems,
guess.
yeah, he seems to be what the people want, and they need to let the people have what they want. I mean,
Yeah.
you know that, that's the way I feel about it now. Like I said, I'm a guest here, so I'm not. I don't believe I have any say in it. My wife does, and she can vote for whoever she wants to. I don't really care, but
Yeah.
this guy won by a good margin, so hopefully that things will go their way, and we'll
Yeah.
just have to wait and see what happens. If it doesn't, I'm sure not going to get involved in it, and I'm not going to say anything about it.
Mm-mm.
Like I said, it's not my place, but we'll see what happens. I did. You know what I did read the other day that was really interesting is the United States is starting to sanction Burma. Um,
Mm.
they're what they're cutting off. They're seizing all their assets, so they can't move money around. There was something else that they were doing, and the, the opposition was trying to get the U.S. government to do a little bit more, and I don't know if they did or not, but um, that's what I saw. And I was really, really glad to see that happen. Those people over there are suffering, and it's needless. I mean, there's human life is something that's very, very fragile, and there's a lot of people hurting in Burma, but
Mm.
hopefully they'll get that straightened out.
Have either of y'all ever been into Burma besides like going across the border into Mesa or
No, I
whatever?
never have. Have you?
Charlie?
No, I haven't.
I haven't either.
Yeah,
I,
I
I
know.
was
I know one guy that has. He he rode a bicycle through, and he had to
Mm.
get different things set from different areas, and had to carry a lot of documents with him. But he actually rode a bicycle through Burma.
Mm.
I was planning a trip to Rangoon. Is that the name of the capital? Um, quite a few years ago. I was looking into it. It was when I was doing a lot of travel. I said, let's go check this out. And I rejected going just because of the hurdles that you had to jump through to make it happen. And it didn't look dangerous, but it looked really uncomfortable.
Mm.
They didn't want to accept their own currency. They weren't accepting credit cards at the time. So,
Mm.
getting money in, I remember there were big problems around money and currency, and I'm trying to recall the specifics of it. But anyway, the more I looked into it, the more I decided, hey, I don't really need to go there, and I rejected it. I mean,
I know a lot of Thais go across
I'm
the
a little
border.
bit adventurous, but I don't need to be going to war zones.
Yeah, that's it.
No.
The Thais go across the border, I know, to buy alcohol and cigarettes, and then they bring them back. So
Yeah.
they're over there buying stuff. I don't know. I've never been, so it's not really high on my list either.
I got an interesting insight into kind of the class structure here in Thailand. My girlfriend had two half brothers pass away within the last 6 weeks. One was up north in Loy, and I went up there for that funeral, which was
Mhm.
kind of an interesting thing to me. I'm glad I went. I had an interesting time. Then we come back and we find out she has another half brother who lives south, about a 7-8 hour drive south near Trot. You know where Trot is?
Yeah.
He owns a durian farm. I knew about this guy because every year during durian season, he would send a crate of durians up as a gift.
Hmm.
And this is a half brother that Buakam, my girlfriend, hasn't seen in like a decade. And she went down. She went down about 2 months ago. He got sick, and so they knew he wasn't doing well. So she went down to see him then. Then the other brother that I went up to Low. She gets back here, and now it's time. He passes away, so she has to go down. I didn't go with her for that one. And she went with her 5 sisters, and her oldest sister's husband drove. He has a great big van, and they packed them all in the van, and off they went. It's like I watched them back out of the street here, and within minutes, post comes up on Facebook, and it's Buakaw with a little, my girlfriend with a little bit of a video of everybody in the back of the van, and the van is tricked out with an old couch, my old couch. It's a couch they took from here, and and there's an infant in it, and it looks like a rolling living room, right? Right. And she shows everybody in it. That'd be 10, 12 people in the van, right? And she shows the whole thing and makes a comment in Thai. And as I translated it, I realized she was making a joke. She goes, "Where the Burmese migrants going to pick durian, ha ha ha," that kind of thing. So I was like, oh, that's kind of an insight. They view themselves as, you know, above, you know, from a class standpoint, you know, and it's like, and I mean, they are landholders, my girlfriend's family, so I guess that is a little bit of a status, but they view themselves as superior to the Burmese, and I got that.
I think
That's
so.
what I took away from the tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, I don't think I'd want to be taking a trip over there for right now. I mean, I don't think I'd worry too much about going to the border areas, you know. And I went up one time with a guy so he could buy some extra bottles of liquor and some cigarettes and stuff. And I wouldn't really, I'd do that again, but I wouldn't as far as traveling inside the country or you know, deep into the country. I don't believe I couldn't feel comfortable. Yeah. Now the little,
I get
That's
a
a
sense
shame.
that
go ahead.
I get a sense that Myanmar has a lot of ethnic identities within it, and one of their problems as a country is trying to pull it together with a national identity that isn't very strong there. And I learned that from that friend of yours, Bill,
Yeah,
the
change.
the late waitress at Gecko
Yeah,
that I
change.
hired as a model there. She's a nice young woman, right? And I
Yeah.
talked with her for a while about, you know, this woman that I'm talking about is about 30. I don't know if she's that old. And she's Burmese, and she works at Gecko Restaurant in Chiang Mai, and she's a nice young woman, her and her sister, and we did a little video photo shoot with her at some of the old rooms near Chiang Mai, and she was telling me about her family, and they live out in, I guess it'd be northwestern Burma, near the Indian border. And they live in a place, and they live in a place where they make beautiful teak furniture, which I had known about, you know, from other sources. But as I was talking to her, I realized they have very strong tribal identity. They have groups, you know, whatever ethnic group they belong to, that's who they view as their people, not broader Myanmar. Myanmar government is just, you know, an annoyance to them. And so, you know, I think that whatever government in place there had, you know, they just try to strong arm them into behaving themselves, and they don't really care if they like them.
Yeah, that's not going to work. I don't know. You know, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Hopefully they'll work something out, but you know, who knows? Just have to wait and see. But when I talked to her, you know, this was back when there was a lot of fighting there. And she was getting ready to go back home. And I said, "Is it safe to travel in your country?" She goes, "Oh, yeah, it's safe." And, you know,
she tried to talk me into going. She wanted
yeah. She said, you know, she said it's fine. So you know, who knows? I think what it boils down to is there's certain tribes that the government's fighting with, and I'm not, you know, like I said, I'm not up on it or anything like that, but I know around the borders and stuff, not far from here. Mae Song, they got a lot of the Burmese are trying to get across, you know, across into Thailand, and when a lot of times when they do, they get caught, they get sent right back.
I just posted a written story on Twitter and Facebook about the tribal influences that still exist in Thailand. Up in one of the kind of very nice experiences for me when I was up there 2 weeks ago for the funeral. It was just watching, you know, just being an observer. You know, I didn't have much choice. I mean, I was the only white person there. I kind of stuck out, and but they were all very nice, man. It was a very cordial, very friendly, kind people. And they do 7 days of mourning, and on the fourth day, there was this big procession led by monks off to the Wat where the body was cremated, and then at the person who died was a 63-year-old owner of a rubber tree farm, and Boo's half brother, and she has a gigantic family up there. I mean, you know, 5 siblings, and I don't know, another half a dozen or more half siblings. The father was a polygamist, so that, you know, she has half siblings scattered all over the damn country. But all of them had converged on this rubber tree farm, and there had to be 200 people there that were relatives of some sort to the guy who died. And then all the villagers come, because what they would do is they had kind of a routine that broke out over the 7 days, that the monks would come in the morning and chant and do religious stuff. And then the rest of the day, villages from around the region would just come and they'd feed everybody. You know, most of these 200 relatives, at least the women, spent the day cooking for anybody who wanted to come and eat. And, you know, people from around would come and eat. And it was, and after the cremation, which happened the third or fourth day into this whole affair, the mood changed at the farm, back at the farm after the cremation. It was now a party. It shifted from kind of a somber, grieving feeling into like, okay, time to party. And everybody started drinking and they cranked out the karaoke players and all that other stuff. And as I'm sitting there and I'm sitting back watching this go on, and there's probably about 100 people there at this point in time. And it was dark. It was, I guess, around 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And they're starting to drink and they're loosening up. And I'm listening to the music that's playing. And it was coming, you know, electronic, you know, karaoke box or whatever it is. It was loud. And it was just this woman singing in almost a chant-like style, an incantation kind of thing, with one string instrument in the background. And I'm trying to figure out what she's saying, but the Isan dialogue was there. Finally, I figured out what I was listening to was something called Morlam. And there's many different forms of it. Morlam Sing is very popular these days, and that's a modern version where all these cute girls dance around in these silly skirts and entertain people at carnival-like events. But the original form of Morlam is like the storytelling that, you know, the what do they call that? Not vocal, but, you know, the oral traditions of ancient times when the storytellers would sit down. And that's what was going on. Now, I knew of its existence, and when I heard it, I was like, oh, I bet you what that is. So I found Pool Count. She goes, oh, yeah. This particular story, relevant to a funeral, was you know, a Thai woman whose husband died, and now she was singing of the difficult times that she had, you know, raising her family and taking care of the farm at the same time. And it was one of these ancient stories, right? Now, that wasn't the condition of the real widow, whose 2 grown sons were already running the farm. She was doing okay. But I asked, I said, can anybody here actually do that, sing that kind of morlam? And they looked and talked around, and turned out the widow could. And I was a little reluctant, but she was eager to show me that she could do it. And what she did is she finished the song. She shut the thing off and finished the song. And I got to witness that, you know, that traditional style of storytelling, chanting. And this woman is finishing the sad story of a widow who lost a husband and now has to raise the family and run the farm at the same time. And it was very touching to me to be part of something like that, because those kinds of traditions really don't exist in the West anymore. Yeah. You know, and they're very tribal. More Lam is more Lao than Thai. It's a Lao influence, and so yeah, you know, when talking about all this made me just think of that. I just wrote a story about it on Twitter and Facebook. I put it on Facebook as well. And so yeah, it's interesting to see the tribal influences. Now, the people in Loy, who are a little detached from the central government culture of Thailand, still consider themselves Thai. They're very proud to be Thai, but they also embrace, you know, the Lao, the Hmong, the Khmer, the, you know, cultures and tribal influences that exist there as well.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah,
good story. Well, folks, we've been on for an hour now, and those of you that want to jump over my video, the video I shot today is up and loaded, and you're welcome to go check it out and see it. Let's see, we've got one more question. Do you guys have monthly dinner night or anything like that? We would like to buy you guys dinner while we're in town.
sounds good to me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, now Charlie's in Bangkok. Spencer and I are.
Let me know. I'm not, you know, opposed.
He might jump up.
Free meal.
Yeah, for sure. You know, that'd be cool. But anyway, I'm going to close it out. And those of you that want to check out the video, it's up now, and you can go watch it. I did it today. It's on the northeast. Walk through the northeast corner of the Moda area that I really like to walk through, and it gives you a real good sense of what's going on. Yeah, Duke's. As a matter of fact, I ordered from Duke's tonight, and that was really good.
I'd fly up there to go to Duke's.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, Spencer, before you go, what's the name of your channel again?
2 Manky Yanks and a Nutter.
Okay.
It's myself and a friend of mine from Texas, and then a British guy. We
I'll go
talk
take a
about
look
things.
at it.
Yeah, it's funny.
For sure. Spencer, send me the link to it too.
I will.
But anyway, y'all take care and y'all have a good week. And hopefully we'll be back next week, same time, same station, and same people. We'll see y'all later.